Today's video is about the great and powerful and often overlooked figure of the conquest of the New World, and his name is Juan Garrido, or Garrido, or Juan the Handsome. He's one of the most overlooked figures in the conquest. He had an extraordinary life. He was a free black conqueror, a conquistador, never enslaved. Some people say that he was born of slavery. Some people say that he was the son of an African king. We'll see if we could prove or disprove that. He definitely came from Spain to the New World. He fought in Santo Domingo, in Puerto Rico, in Florida, in Mexico. He was in some of the most exciting battles of the conquest. He fought alongside Juan Ponce de Leon, Hernan Cortez in the conquest of Mexico. He was the first person in the Americas to plant wheat, one of the most important crops, one of the more important crops. He lived a crazy and dangerous life, but his story is remarkable and diverse, and a lot of people associate the Africans coming to America with slavery, but this is totally counter to that. So with that being said, let's see what we could see in the life of Juan Garrido, right? So we'll get into his probanza, or his merits, where he wrote about his life in the Americas. He petitioned for an encomienda, or a land grant of land and Indians. But we'll start here. This is in 1516 in Puerto Rico, and this is a list of people who came up with some gold. And you see right here, Juan Garrido Negro, means he's black, obviously, and he came up with some gold in 1516, and this is in Puerto Rico. And you see him again in Puerto Rico in 1520. This guy was well traveled, because he was in a few different places, and he was part of the discovery of what is now the United States of America, and in Puerto Rico. So he's the first African American, the first Afro-Latino. African history in America, in my opinion, starts with Juan Garrido, and I think more people should take pride in that. Okay, so this is him in 1520 in Puerto Rico, again having gold. So he was active in Puerto Rico. The next thing I'm going to do, which is going to be the most time on this, is I'm going to attempt to read through this. This is his probanza, or his merits. And he wrote a petition to the king in order to get his encomienda, or his land grant, for his service to the crown. And you see right here, information for Juan Garrido de color negro. So he was black. I'm gonna do a quick. This was actually transcribed by Ricardo Alegria, and I translated it. So I'm gonna read it in English and try to follow along. So this is in 1538, the Probanza de Juan Garrido, in the great city of Mexico, in this New Spain, on the 27th day of the month of September, in the year of our Lord 1538, before the Honorable Fernando Perez Bocanegra, mayor of the city by his majesty, and in the presence of Martin de Castro, public scribe in the city, appeared Juan Garrido, a black man and resident of the said city of Mexico. And he presented and written a petition along with the questions below what follows. So this probanza, what they do is they get witnesses, and Juan Garrido, the person who is in question, he writes a set of questions and gives them to a few different witnesses who who could vouch for him. So I think this has maybe 8 or 9 witnesses. It's going to be the same questions over and over again, but it's going to be different answers because some people were there with him, some people were not. Okay, so the first person that does the writing is Juan Garrido himself. Well, he's the one. The scribe is Martin de Castro. He's the one writing, but he's writing what Juan Garrido is saying, and then there'll be a different witness, and you'll see. So right here, most noble lord, I, Juan Garrido, right here. I, Juan Garrido, a black man and resident of the city, appear before your mercy and say that I have need to provide proof of perpetual royal record of how I have served your majesty in the conquest and pacification in this New Spain, since I here with the Marquis of the Valley, Marquis de Valles, Hernan Cortez. In this conquest, I have personally been present at all the entrances and the conquest and explorations that I have always been carried out with the said Marquis, Hernan Cortez, all of which I have done at my own expense, without receiving a salary or an allotment of land or any other compensation, as I am married and a resident of the city where I have always lived. Now, I tried to find who his wife was, the names of his children, but it was incredibly difficult, so that was a failure on my end. I wish that he would have wrote it. Okay, so likewise, I went on the expedition to discover with the Marquis de Valle, which is Hernan Cortez, the islands that are in the southern sea, where we endured many hardships and necessities. I also went to explore and pacify the island of San Juan de Borique, Puerto Rico, and I was also involved in the pacification and conquest of the island of Cuba with Admiral Diego Velázquez. In all of this, over 30 years, I have served and continue to serve His Majesty. For this reason, I humbly ask your mercy, help, and information in this matter, as well as the recognition, as I was the first to conduct experiments in this New Spain to plant wheat, trigo, which is the plant, and see if I were to grow there, which I experimented at my own cost. Having done so, I request your mercy in to issue me assistance and information in the form of a signed and sealed decree of judicial authority, so that I may present for His Majesty and the proper authorities, ensuring that my services are recognized and recorded, as my governors have done. Having served as a loyal servant, above all, I request justice. So now they're going to get into the questions. So right here. Additionally, I ask that the witnesses I present be examined with these questions. So these questions. Number 1. First, they should ask if they know me, Juan Garrido, said and for how long. Number 2. And if they know that around 28 years ago, more or less, I went with the Spanish island of Hispaniola, modern day Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and Haiti, from the kingdoms of Castile. So he came from Spain as a free black man, free, never a slave, and later went on to the expeditions of Juan Ponce de Leon to the island of San Juan. So this is 1508. He's already with Juan Ponce de Leon from Santo Domingo to Puerto Rico. From there, we traveled to the island of Guadalupe and then to Dominica and other islands. And all these places, we fought against Caribs, the Indian tribe known to eat human flesh. Actually, the word cannibal comes from the distortion of the word Carib. And pacified the island of San Juan. They conquered the island of San Juan. After that, I went with Juan Ponce de Leon in 1513 to discover the island of Florida. We know now it's not an island, but they didn't know back then. So he was there in 1513 to discover in the discovery. So he's one of the discoverers of the United States of America, a free black man, where I worked diligently and served His Majesty with my own person and at my own cost. Number 3, and if they know, I was also in the conquest of the island of Cuba, where I worked in the conquest personally and at my own cost. It was pacified under the Admiral Diego Velázquez. Number 4, And if they know that I came to the said New Spain with the Marquis de Valle, Don Hernan Cortez, and was always with him in all the land that was conquered and pacified. I was present at the conquest of Mexico until peace was established. So that means 1518, 1519, 1520. This is a remarkable career for any conquistador. Okay, so number 5. And if they know that under the presence of Tlaxcala was pacified, the said Marquis came to the city of Mexico where the native people of the land were displaced by the said Marquis and the Spaniards who were with him, and that many people were killed. Number 6. And if they know that later the said Juan Garrido returned to the Marquis to the city and served in the conquest and occupation of the land that was fully taken and pacified, which required much hardship. Number 7. And if they know that after that the said Juan Garrido remained in the city, residing here as a citizen of New Spain. He's talking about Mexico City now. Tenochtitlan back then. Number 8. And if they knew after all this, I went with the Marquis de Valle to the South Sea on the voyage of discovery, and I was with him on the island where we suffered great hardship, hunger, and wars, and we nearly perished due to starvation, which is widely known and notorious. Number 9. And if they know that while I was in Coyoacan, I was the first to plant wheat and other crops because, based on the experiments I conducted, the land proved to be very suitable for it. Since I was the first to initiate wheat cultivation, this land is now sustained by it, and it is publicly known and notorious. Number 10. And if they know that neither the Marquis nor the governor after him has ever granted me or my wife any rewards of compensation, despite the fact that we have suffered from great hardships and needs. So now they're going to start asking the witnesses to come forward and confirm these questions. So let's see who's the first. This was sworn on October 11th. And the witness is Pedro de Vargas. So the said Pedro de Vargas. This is going to be the next page. So Pedro de Vargas, a resident of the city of Mexico, appeared as a witness under the oath when the questions, according to the interrogator, he said the following. Number 1, to the first question, he said that he has known Juan Garrido for about 15 years, more or less. Number 2, the second question, he has heard many people around in the Spanish islands and they say that the question was true, that it is publicly known what Juan Garrido has done in the mentioned question. To the third question, he had heard many people say that in Havana, Juan Garrido participated in the conquest of the stated island. The fourth question, he said that he does not know, so he was not present for this, but he has heard many people say that Juan Garrido was involved in the conquest of the mentioned question and publicly known. Okay, I'm going to skip some. I'm just going to get to the people that actually know stuff. So I'll skip down a little bit. Let's go to question 8. The 8th question, he knows that it is true to be stated the witness saw and went with the said Marquis and later returned. It is well known and publicly acknowledged that to the said island that they endured many hardships and suffered hunger and faced extreme necessity. Number 9. To the 9th question, he said that he knows to be true because this witness saw and ate the wheat Juan Garrido had planted. He added that for having done this, Juan Garrido deserves to be rewarded as it is beneficial to the land, since he was the first to introduce and cultivate wheat, and its abundance today is due to him. Number 10. To the 10th question, he said that he knows it to be true because this witness has seen governors who, despite granting favors in New Spain and the islands on the ocean, never rewarded Juan Garrido for his services to His Majesty. He also stated that he has never heard it said that from Juan Garrido that he received anything. The witness further affirmed that he had seen Juan Garrido work to sustain himself and his wife through his labor and efforts to earn livelihood. He confirmed the truth and stated and sworn his oath. And that was Pedro de Vargas. The second witness is Francisco Galeando, and he duly sworn before Martin de Castro. And let's see. So the second, so he knew, for the first question, he knew Juan Garrido for about 25 years, more or less. The second question, he said that he knows it to be true, except that he did not personally witness the expedition to Florida, as he was not present. Talking about the witness, Francisco Galeando. However, he heard others say it was true because he himself was present in the other conquests. He saw and knew Juan Garrido in those events. Let's go to the fourth question. To the fourth question, he said that when he arrived in New Spain with Gonzalo Ovalle, and after Juan Garrido was already there, he heard Hernan Cortez and found Juan Garrido in the land. He also stated that he heard many people say Juan Garrido came with the Marquis and was present with him throughout the conquest. So the fifth question, he said that he heard many people publicly say what is described in question, and however he couldn't personally verify it. Let's see, number 7. To the question, he said he knows it to be true described because he seen Juan Garrido living on this land with his wife and children. So Juan Garrido, this great man, may potentially have living descendants, and maybe in Mexico, maybe they traveled. I'm not sure. To the eighth question, he said it is heard what is described in the question, and that he himself witnessed Juan Garrido depart with the Marquis de Valle in the journey, that they suffered many hardships. To the ninth question, he said that when wheat was first planted in Coyoacan, he arrived there and heard many people publicly say that Juan Garrido had planted it. He was indeed the first person to plant wheat on this land. He also confirmed that he had greatly benefited this land, as since there had been wheat and an abundance of bread. Because of this, he stated, Juan Garrido deserved to be rewarded for these contributions. To the 10th question, he said that he knows Juan Garrido never received any indigenous laborers, and they're talking about an encomienda, or a land grant of Indians, or rewards, and said that he has been taken advantage of. He added that Juan Garrido suffers from hardships and in need, and it is the truth what others have affirmed. However, he does not know how to sign his name, so he did not sign. The next witness. Now, this witness is very important because if you watched my video on Juan Ponce de Leon, one of the more famous conquerors of Puerto Rico and Mexico and Florida was Juan Gonzalez Ponce de Leon, a second cousin once removed of the more famous Juan Ponce de Leon. And right now, so Juan Gonzalez was there at the conquest of Puerto Rico. He was actually, he knew the Indian language, so he was an interpreter and a spy. And he also went to Florida, and then he ended up in Mexico when with the flota of Juan Narvaez. So he would know Juan Garrido the longest, in my opinion. So, witness to the said Juan Gonzalez de Leon appeared as a witness in this matter was duly sworn in. Number 1, to the first question, he said that he knows Juan Garrido. To the second question, he said that it is known to be true, as stated, because this witness was in the said fleet of the island of San Juan, Puerto Rico, during the time described and in question. He also stated that he saw Juan Garrido there and participate in the conquest along with other conquistadors. He mentioned that he had kept this memory with him to this day, and he holds it with no fear, and that he also personally saw Juan Garrido travel to Florida with Juan Ponce de Leon. So, Juan Garrido was the first African American in the Americas. That's incredible that we are able to know his name. So there's they call it Project 1619, and they're trying to say that the first Africans in America came on slave boats, and that's just not true. Juan Garrido is the first African American. Okay, sorry. Number 4. So the fourth question, he said that he has seen Juan Garrido in New Spain, Mexico, for 13 or 14 years and saw him participating in the conquest and pacification of Mexico City, and that he saw him being sent to other battles and expeditions. He also stated that he witnessed Juan Garrido working hard on everything he was commanded to do by his captains. We'll skip the 5th and 6th question. The 7th question, he said that he knows it to be true that he had stated because he saw Juan Garrido marry and afterwards, and he always saw him settled in the city with his wife. And I think they had 3 kids. Number 8, to the 8th question, he said that he knows it publicly known and notorious as the witness saw Juan Garrido travel and later return. He also heard from everyone that those who traveled with him suffered great hardships, hunger, and wars, and many of them died from starvation. To the 9th question, he said that he knows it to be very true, as stated, because he personally saw Juan Garrido plant the first wheat grains in New Spain. He added that he also saw Juan Garrido plant other vegetables, and that they were all of great benefit to many Spaniards. Because of this, he affirmed Juan Garrido deserved to be greatly rewarded by His Majesty. And to the 10th question, he said that he knows it to be true, as stated, because this witness has known Juan Garrido for many years in the city and has never saw him receive any indigenous laborers encomienda grants of official rewards. He also stated that he knew if Juan Garrido had received such things, he would have known it because they have had many conversations together. He affirmed that it to be true, Juan Garrido has suffered hardships and continues to suffer from necessities, as he has sustained himself through his own labor. This witness signed and confirmed the statement. The next witness is this Alonso Martín de Jerez, and he starts with number 1, that he has known Juan Garrido for about 20 years, more or less. The second question is that he knows it to be true because he stated about 17 years ago, and mind you, 17 years ago would be from this would be 1521, which would be the second voyage to Florida with Ponce de Leon, where Ponce de Leon was actually killed, and many other men were killed. Ponce de Leon's nephew was killed. There was other, and so Juan Garrido was a true survivor. So in 1521, Captain Juan Ponce de Leon led an expedition to Florida. This witness was part of the fleet and personally saw Juan Garrido travel to the island of Florida to help conquer and pacify it. He stated that he saw Juan Garrido serve His Majesty in this expedition, where he endured great hardships, thirst, and hunger. The witness himself also suffered from the same difficulties, as stated that he knows Juan Garrido did everything his captain commanded. Okay, so to the third, we'll skip to the fourth question. So to the fourth question, he said that he knows it to be true because he personally saw and was present when Juan Garrido participated in the conquest of Mexico City with Hernan Cortez. He confirmed that Juan Garrido served His Majesty very well and worked as much as he was ordered to. The witness was present at the conquest and saw Juan Garrido participate. He testified that Juan Garrido came to New Spain as part of the conquest, and beyond this, he does not know more details. And we'll skip to question 8. To the 8th question, he said that he knows it to be true because he was present with Hernan Cortez and participated in everything described in the question, enduring hardships, labor, and hunger. To the 9th question, he said that he knows it to be true because the witness personally saw Juan Garrido planting wheat grains in an orchard that he owned. The witness also planted some wheat grains from the Castilian Islands, and from those he harvested 160 stalks of wheat. He stated that Juan Garrido was the first to plant and harvested wheat, and this brought great benefit to the city. Because of this, he should be justly rewarded by His Majesty, to Juan Garrido being the first to introduce wheat cultivation. And number 10 would be, I'm sorry. And number 10. So the 10th question, he said that he knows it to be true because this witness had known Juan Garrido for a long time and he has never seen him receive any awards. He further stated that Juan Garrido had been taken advantage of and suffers from great need, as he has a family. His family sustains themselves through his own labor. The witness added that if Juan Garrido had received any rewards, he would have known it because it would have been widely discussed over the time. The next witness would be Rodrigo de Salvatierra, and he knew him for number 1. He knew him for 21 years, more or less. Number 2, the second question, he said that it is known to be true because he personally saw Juan Garrido in the conquest. He spoke about the pacification of the island of Guadalupe, which he conquered with Captain Juan Ponce de Leon. And from there, they went on to conquer and pacify the islands of San Juan, Puerto Rico. He stated that Juan Garrido served His Majesty well in everything he was ordered to do by his captains. We'll skip to 4. The fourth question, he said that he heard by people saying that Juan Garrido came with Hernan Cortez to New Spain. He also stated that after the Marquis arrived and conquered the land, the witness arrived in Mexico City and found Juan Garrido already there. We'll skip to number 6. It's the next page. So the 6th question, he said that he knows it to be true because the witness was present at the conquest and capture of the city. He also saw Juan Garrido serving during the conquest, working hard and following all the commands by his captains, enduring great hardships. Number 7, he said that he knows Juan Garrido is married and has a wife and children in the city where he has resided for a long time. To the 8th question, he said that everything in the question is publicly known, notorious in the city. He confirmed that Juan Garrido traveled with the Marquis de Valle, Hernan Cortez, and suffered many hardships. Number 9, to the ninth question, he said that while in Coyoacan, the witness saw a garden belonging to Juan Garrido, where he planted various vegetables and small wheat patches from Castile. He stated that Juan Garrido was the first to plant wheat on that land. After the first harvest, it was publicly recognized and became widely known. Since that time, wheat had been continuously grown in New Spain. Because of this, he believes Juan Garrido deserves to be rewarded by His Majesty, as his efforts have been highly beneficial to the land and its people. And to the 10th question, he says, the land that he knows to be true because this witness has personally known Juan Garrido since the land was conquered. And we have one more witness, and it is a lawyer, Alonso Perez, and resident of the city. So the first question, he said that he knows Juan Garrido for about 15 years and had met him during the conquest of New Spain. We'll skip to the 4th question. So the 4th question, he said that while he was in Mexico City with the Marquis de Valle, in the causeway of Acachinango, he saw Juan Garrido, a black man, serving and following orders given to him. He was sent to different places just like other conquistadors. The witness saw Juan Garrido in battles and witnessed him fighting as the other conquistadors did. He also stated that while in Coyoacan, Juan Garrido had a garden where he grew many Castilian vegetables. In this city, he personally saw wheat plants growing for the first time in New Spain. He confirmed that Juan Garrido was the first person to grow wheat in this land. The witness also stated that he has always seen Juan Garrido live honorably, despite being a black man, awkward, and that he has been a peaceful, obedient person, following the orders of justice. Later, the witness saw Juan Garrido leave the city with Hernan Cortez in an expedition to the islands. Afterwards, he saw him return to the city where he appeared to have lost everything. This is how he knows. And sorry. We'll skip to the 10th question. He said that he knows Juan Garrido very well, and he knows that he never received any indigenous laborers or encomiendas or any other rewards, and he stated that he has never seen him benefit from anything, but instead observed that he has always worked to support himself. I think we have one more, sorry. And this witness is Alonso Escobar. He knew Juan Garrido for about 30 years. To the second question, he said that he knows what is described in the question because he recalls Juan Garrido traveled from Castile, so he's seen him come from Spain, and the Spanish island of Española, which is Dominican Republic, and Haiti, as a free man, never a slave. As for the rest of the question details, he only knows because what he had heard from Juan Garrido as what was described. So this witness is only able to answer question 2. Let's see. So the 9th question, he said that he heard many people in the city publicly say that it was Juan Garrido for the first to plant wheat in this land. He also stated that because of this, wheat have flourished in New Spain and has been sustaining the colony ever since. He affirmed that Juan Garrido deserves to be rewarded in this efforts in cultivating wheat since it had benefited many people in New Spain. And to the 10th question, finally, he said that he has never seen or heard the Marquis or any governor of New Spain has ever granted Juan Garrido a reward or compensation. He also stated that he knows Juan Garrido lives in poverty and suffers from great need. He affirmed this to be truth under oath. So, what do you think about it? Do you agree that Juan Garrido was the first African American, the first Afro-Latino, and one of the great conquerors? I read about this all the time. I read about the conquests of the Americas, and I don't think there's another Spaniard soldier that fought in all these battles. Just the conquest of Mexico had I can't even count all the battles that they went through in the conquest of Mexico, and that's not including Puerto Rico, Santo Domingo, Cuba, Florida. This is an incredible man who lived an incredible life. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share, subscribe, inform people about this page. And with that being said, pa'lante.